Hey guys, it's me, Chef Nikki. Gonna be cooking up the zucchini and squash that I picked from the garden today. Now, the zucchini and squash has been growing for about a month and a half, and as you can see, they've gotten a really good size. I wanted to show you guys what they look like in the middle. So I'm gonna be roasting these off in a roasting pan with a little bit of olive oil, but I'm gonna slice them pretty thinly, and you can follow along at home if you have zucchini and squash. Some of them are really big, so I had to cut the zucchini down in the middle the long way and then slice them. I'm doing them fairly thin because I'm going to be roasting them on a baking sheet at about 425 degrees, and it's gonna roast pretty quickly. So therefore you want to cut your zucchini and squash pretty thinly. If some of you have been following my gardening posts, I've been gardening or growing this particular garden since May the 1st. So there are the zucchini and squash. I have some tomatoes that I'm slicing in half. I do have tomatoes grown in the garden, but they're not ready and they're not cherry tomatoes. So I had to buy some from Kroger, and I'm adding those to the bowl along with the zucchini and squash. These are summer fruits. Technically, they have seeds, so they're fruits. So they're in abundance right now, and you should be able to find them easily in the store. Okay, so all I've done is add a little bit of salt and pepper. I'm adding some Italian seasonings. I've also added some olive oil. Then I'm gonna spray my baking sheet. That's Parm avocado oil, which I like to use. It's kind of light, and I actually got it for free from a client. I have a couple of bottles at home. So I'm gonna spray it out in the pan, mix all of our ingredients together in with the vegetables, and then you're gonna spread it around the pan into a nice thin layer, because again, we want this to cook pretty quickly, and we don't want all the zucchini to be crowded on top of each other. So as you can see, I'm just spreading those out thinly. Next up, we're going to add the topping to our vegetables. And as you can see, had to take some pictures for the gram. So what I've done is I've added some panko breadcrumbs to the top, a nice thin layer. You could use Italian breadcrumbs, but I like the crispiness and the crunchiness of panko. I've also sprinkled it with some garlic powder, Parmesan cheese, and this is Pecorino Romano cheese. I'm going to sprinkle some of that on top. It's going to create a really nice cheesy crust. I mean, it's really good, you guys. A little more salt and pepper, and I sprayed the top with the avocado oil just to help it brown and get golden and crispy and bubbly at the top. So while that's going, we're going to work on our chicken. I thought to myself, you know what? Let's keep the momentum with the breadcrumbs and the cheese, and let's just go ahead and do a Parmesan crusted chicken. So I'm getting some mayonnaise and I'm spreading it all over these nice plump chicken breasts. I don't know about you guys, but I was raised on Hellman's. I know in the South people use Duke's, and I think there's another brand, but I was raised on Hellman's. So if it ain't Hellman's, I'm not using it. So we spread that on the chicken. I'm going to season it with salt and pepper, more of the Italian seasoning, and more of the garlic. The same flavor profiles as the veggies that we just used. Now, I sprinkled some of the panko in a bowl along with the Pecorino Romano cheese, and I'm going to mix all of that together. And what you're going to do is kind of pack it lightly onto your chicken. And you're going to kind of press it down firmly. I also added a little bit of paprika in that to give it a nice red color to help it brown as it bakes. It's going to help it get nice and golden. So I'm pressing those breadcrumbs down onto the chicken. Now, that mayonnaise is really going to help seal in the juiciness of the chicken. It's going to help keep it moist as it bakes. It's really a gem. And it's almost like butter. It's very fatty and it has eggs, and so it's really good for the chicken. Now, while everything is in the oven cooking, I went out to the herb garden, which is in the front of the house, and I picked some fresh herbs. So that is basil that you see me picking right now, and I think this is actually my first time picking from the basil plant. I haven't been using too much basil, and I'm picking some parsley, which is growing in abundance. There's also cilantro. That's the one with the little white flowers. There's a lot of that growing out there too. So I took all of my herbs inside, and I'm cleaning them in some water, kind of soaking them, rinsing them, and then I dried them and got ready to chop them up. I minced up the parsley, that's Italian flat leaf, and I did a nice thin slice on the basil. As you can see, the veggies cooked up really nice. They're roasted, golden brown, bubbly. So I took them out the oven. And while they're nice and hot, I'm going to hit it with feta cheese. I just thought that would be a nice addition, a nice cool feta. And I'm also going to add the herbs that I chopped, just the parsley and the basil. I also had some thyme, which I used on the chicken. And here you can see that's the final product. That is our roasted vegetables. And that is our chicken. It was delicious. I hope you guys enjoyed watching and you all have a wonderful day.